implemented by Rasulullah SAW. Dakwah that makes Rasulullah as a reference will lead to success in the path of dakwah. However, dakwah today faces various challenges, either from the Muslim or from the outsider who try to disrupt the efforts of spread of dakwah. One of the challenges is the emergence of Orientalists who study Islam for their own benefits. This is very worrying if it continuously happens without the knowledge of the Muslim community. And this study aims to discuss the impact of Orientalism on the spread of dakwah, especially in
Orientalism. Orientalism consists of a combination of two words, which is Oriental and ism. Orientalist refers to someone who is knowledgeable in the East. Anyone who teach, writes, or explore the East, whether as an anthropologist, sociologist, historian, in a specialized broad sense, is known as an Orientalist, and what they are doing is Orientalism. Orientalism developed on a variety of factors, and Islam was the most significant factor emphasized in their study of Islam. The original reaction among Orientalists was to try to prove that Quran was not a revelation of Allah, but rather the work of the Prophet Muhammad SAW. They do various ways to manipulate the true teaching of the Quran and Hadith, and one of them is through the activities of translation. As they know, Islam is a religion based on the two sources, which is Al-Quran and Sunnah.
The method of this study is a library research that focuses on the impact of Orientalism on the spread of Islamic dakwah in Malaysia. In most academic institutions, library research is an essential component of research initiative. Researchers are responsible for thoroughly examining pertinent data in order to establish the usefulness, credibility, and the authority of the research project in which they are involved. Through this library research, some printed materials in libraries are referred to obtain information on the topic studied, as well as find basic information to support the researcher's study in the study. Among the library materials used in this research are thesis, dissertation, academic writing, working papers, magazines, and related books on this topic. In addition, the researcher used personal collection of books in storage to collect information as well as research data.
We move to the literature review. There are many studies done on Orientalists by Islamic scholars, including books, theses, journal, and so on. There are studies done by Mahmud Hamdi Zakzouk with the title Orientalist and Background of His Talk. According to Siti Aminah 2013, in this book has discussed about their agenda, their mission, which is the activity that committed by Orientalists, enable to make Islam community know to the truth as a result of Orientalism. Besides that, there are theses that conduct a study on Quran with the title The Quran According to the Oriental View that has been produced by Muhammad Muzayyin. According to his thesis, he has discussed about the method that used by Oriental, which is they use historical criticism as one of method that they use in their studying. And in his thesis, they are also involved the Western scholar that involved in this study. So what we can see on the Western work, we can say that it enable to give negative impact to the dakwah Islam, especially we want to convey the dakwah among non-Muslim. So as a preacher, they need to use the right method and resource to ensure that the source are true when delivering dakwah.
We continue our slide with the topics: the effect of Orientalism on Islamic proselytization. First, the impact of Orientalism on Islamic dakwah from a political and legal perspective is Islam is separate from law and politics. This can be proved by Mark, Karl, and Engels, and also Friedrich in 1953. Next slide is about approach in advance the affair of life. Based on this slide, what can I conclude is progress in all matters of life. Obviously, they need to adhere to several approaches. Second, the impact of Orientalism on Islamic da'wah from an intellectual and thought perspective. First, as a result, a Muslim is more likely to apostatize. And next, this can be proved by the statement of Good, William J. and Hutt, and the last is Paul K. 1952. And the last is, there is confusion of input in the spread of Islamic preaching. The Orientalists give input that cause confusion to the Muslim, such as first, Islam is described as Muhammadanism, founded by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the result of imitation of Judaism and Christianity. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam spread Islam because of economic impulse and desire to get the spoils of war alone.
For the impact of Orientalism on the spread of Islamic da'wah, we can see that the emergence of ideology that contradict with Islamic law can be one of them. For instance, secularism. Today, they have slowly influenced our society in general and give negative impact more than positive towards our society, especially for the dawah institution. For example, the emergence of G25, a group who opposed RUU 355 that become bold in spreading a secularism ideology in Malaysia. All of this happened because of the ideology that Orientalists bring to split apart Muslim community. It can be seen as a threat for dawah institution as JAKIM that are functioning as authorities that play a big role in management of Islamic affairs. Next, propagation of anti-hadith group. This group has existed long time ago since second century of Hijrah during Imam Shafi'i era. As we all know, Orientalists aim to attack Islam and Muslim in many ways to prevent us from practicing Islamic teaching that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam bring. So in Malaysia, they are known as Jemaah Al-Quran Malaysia, which is a JAM that lead by Kasim Ahmad. This group has created controversy and anger, especially towards Islam community. Kasim Ahmad had tried to spread the ideology of rejecting the hadith through his writing. And one of his writing was Hadis Jawapan kepada Pengkritik. However, in today's society, though there are no anti-hadith group that organized like JAM, we can see that many people had been influenced by the ideology of rejecting hadith in our life through internet and media social. No action is being taken against them due to the absence of report from the public, and as the result, evidence of their existence is difficult to obtain. The use of internet helps them in spreading ideology without being easily detected by the authorities. If this continue to happen, it can impact the spread of Islamic da'wah in Islam. So the public who had no basic knowledge of Islam can be easily affected and influenced by this ideology.
Next is the influence of Orientalists in academic writing, which also have negative impact. Among the writings that have a negative influence is a book entitled Dilema Umat Islam Antara Hadis dan Quran, is the work of Kasim Ahmad, who is a writer and well known because he is considered an anti-hadith by scholars in Malaysia. Some content that found to be contradictory in the book. First, rejecting hadith that acknowledge a group of scholars as the Prophet hears. Second, mistake in interpreting the Quranic verse. As a result, there exists contradiction that allow Muslim understanding and belief to be perverted, influencing the thinking of people who lack knowledge or uneducated about Islam. Okay, next is the effect of Oriental writings. From the point of view of faith, how do the Orientalists use the method of writing to damage the faith of the Muslim Ummah? This can be seen when the Orientalists dare to say the Quran is no longer a holy book, that is outdated, and even some Muslim intellectuals say so. As the proof of their success, they damage the faith of the Muslim Ummah. According to Azra Muhammad and Mahdi Isa 2009, the Orientalists poison people's mind by claiming that Islam should only be presented to the world on the basis of violence, intolerance, anti-development, and materialism. In this regard, they deliberately denigrate Islam, insult its heritage, and try to compare the Christian West and the Islamic East in the term of progress.
As a conclusion, based on the discussion, it shows that Orientalism movement was established to study Eastern affairs, especially regarding Islam, and seeks to distort the ideology of Muslims. Therefore, Muslims need to work hard to acquire knowledge, to prepare themselves with religious knowledge, to remain confident in its truths of the true religion, which is Islam, and can continue to spread the message of the truths of Islam to the mankind as not to be easily deceived by the propaganda of the enemies.